legislature, that comes first, and we totally understand and respect that. So Jennifer is up next. I've not met her before. So you're going to have to identify yourself.
Okay. You know, so I had this big old speech that I had planned out here, and I think I might take a little bit different turn, because how many of you are already doing things like you're a PCO, or, okay, I know we've got some PCOs here. How many of you in past years have either registered your opinion on a bill or testified? Okay, so we have a lot of people who are already active, correct? So I don't have to tell you get active.
The caucus is on the 13th.
Oh, okay, I got a message from the side here that caucus is on the 13th, so make sure that you got somebody from your precinct attending.
Can someone bring me a spouse, please?
Yeah. Okay, so my name is Jennifer Heine-Whitby, and I am with the Family Policy Institute of Washington. Education is kind of my specialty, and it started in my kids' own district, fighting against comprehensive sexual education, and I just kind of got sucked in. So I've been doing this for about 5 years now. And how many of you agree our schools are a mess? Yep. Yep. Schools are a mess. And I talk to parents all the time about things that are going on in their kids' schools. And I had a couple years ago, a mom emailed me, and she was so upset because her daughter's gym teacher kept talking to her daughter about gender and sexuality, and it violated their religious beliefs. She went to the principal, talked with the principal and the PE teacher, and said, please don't do this. And both of them said, sorry, it's compulsory, which is a lie. Her daughter was 6 years old. Totally inappropriate. There's another group of individuals that I spoke with last June. They had middle school students at Rainier Preparatory Academy, which is a charter school in the Seattle area. And it was in June, so the school was conducting a series of pride lessons. Well, this also violated their religious beliefs. This was a group of Muslim, Jewish, and Christian families. And about 40 students got tired of it, and they walked out of class. So the school, of course, came down on these students like a brick. Put them into a classroom for the rest of the day, isolated them from the other students, took away their phones, their lunch time, their recess, their enrichment classes. And the parents held a rally outside the school. And later that evening, I spoke with them. And I told them, you go to your board, you've got rights, here are your rights. Oh, also, all these families were Ethiopian immigrants, which is kind of interesting. But it turns out they went to the school the next day, held another rally, and the school announced no more pride lessons for the rest of the year. That's the power of parental involvement. You know, oh, here's one. Have any of you seen the Math Ethnic Studies Framework for Seattle Public Schools? No one. Okay, that is very interesting too. So the learning targets include things like analyze the ways in which ancient mathematical knowledge has been appropriated by Western culture. Or identify how math has been and continues to be used to oppress and marginalize people and communities of color. Or how is math manipulated to allow inequality and oppression to persist? Now, if this is what they're focusing on, how is it that these kids can even pass math. It's no wonder that their math scores are down around 53%. So we've got work to do. So the last year I have spent traveling around the state, and I've been putting on a summit series called Crisis in Education, a Call to Action. And I was doing this with my good friend and partner, Keith Adams at FPIW. He sadly passed away in December. But, you know, it was about a year ago or so, a little more a year ago, he came to me with this list of parental rights and showed it to me. And he said, Jennifer, this needs to be a law. I said, yes, Keith, it does. He took that to Representative Jim Walsh. We now know that as Initiative 2081. How many of you gathered signatures on that petition? Awesome. That now has enough signatures to go before the legislature. But we are not done, because we need to convince the lawmakers that they need to bring it to committee. That means that we need to get a hold of our representatives and our senators and tell them to support Initiative 2081. There are other things that we need to be doing. One of them is thinking about school board races that are coming up in 2025. Now is the time to be doing that, rather than in May when you declare candidacy and you're scrambling around going, there's so much I got to learn. Think about it now. Prepare for it now. Get to know what your school's policies are. Get involved with the committees. If your district has a curriculum review committee or instructional materials committee that they're looking for people to serve on, do it. Get involved. Go to school board meetings and get others to come to the school board meetings. This is how we get involved. This is how we change things. So after the 2020 election, I and my good friend Sharon Hannick, we got together. Oh, thank you.
Blanking here.
We got together and formed a group of school board directors, conservative school board directors, and gave them a way to connect with each other and support each other and help each other out. Well, that group grew and is now around 100 school board directors. And they did something pretty amazing this last General Assembly. General Assembly is in September every year. That's where the Washington State School Directors Association gets together. They vote on policies and legislative positions and such. They got a record number of districts to participate, and they brought before them for a vote an amendment to get rid of what is called the weighted vote. So it used to be that if you had 5 or more districts asking for a weighted vote, then everybody who voted got a number of votes dependent on the size of their district. That is why basically Seattle Public Schools has controlled WASDA all these years, since 1986. I graduated in 1986. That was a long time ago. Well, they had enough directors show up that they voted that down. They got rid of the weighted vote. Now, at General Assembly, when they vote on policies, every district gets one vote. From Seattle Public Schools to little old Soap Lake on the other side of the state. And that is success. That is how we change things. Simply by getting in there, getting involved, and making change. Getting with others and making change. So I want to encourage you this legislative session. It's a short session, but be diligent. There are 3 ways that you can track bills. There's organizations that are doing it for you. FPIW, you go onto our website at fpiw.org And you can, there's a legislative prompt that you can click on. And Brad Payne, who's our legislative rep, he tracks all the bills and shows you how you can register an opinion, how you can testify, which ones to be concerned about. There's also Influencing Olympia and Conservative Ladies of Washington. All of them are...
WashingtonVotes.org.
Oh, and WashingtonVotes.org. There's 4 ways that you can watch the bills and track them. And you know, it only takes about 5 minutes to go on there, see what bills are up for that day, and register an opinion. More than that, we need people to testify. I know that it becomes difficult for those lawmakers who are in the minority to be out there fighting for us, and we don't show up to even testify. It's very discouraging. We got to do better about that. So that's what I have for you today. Thank you for being here and for braving the weather. And let's make this a legislative session that things change. Thank you.